Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil.
I'm Julie.
And patty cake, baker's man. Make me a whiskey as fast as you can. Welcome to the Bourbon Van Nursery Rhyme Hour.
Phil said he wanted to intro this video, and jury's out. Maybe not great.
I'm going to say it's probably not great. What we're doing today is finding out how much a little age matters when you're talking about bourbon, and specifically Baker's 7. Baker's. Bake me a...
I gotcha. Yeah, I liked it.
Well, over the years, we've been told by several people, Baker's 7's great, and we agree. But the line is always, find the oldest ones that you can, because the 7-year ones, it's a minimum of 7 years aged. Very good, but you can get better ones if you get the well-aged ones. Well, we've never really had the opportunity to try them side by side and see if that was indeed the case. And today we have that opportunity. We have the 7-year 3-month bottle that came from Warehouse CLP, and we have the 8-year 10-month bottle that came from Warehouse CLX. So there's going to be a difference here simply because there's a warehouse difference, and also a whole lot of time in between here. So we're going to taste these blind. So this is Baker's 7. It is a Jim Beam product, 107 proof. Minimum age is 7 years. We're going to nose these and taste them and see if we notice a difference. We're going to pick a favorite.
I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. 107, a perfect proof.
Oh, it's a great place to do your drinking. There was nothing else to introduce. Should we get right to it?
Yes.
All right, on to the nose. Glass number 1.
Sugary, sweet, oaky.
Yeah, somewhat medicinal.
Vanilla.
Glass number 2. Little nuttiness here. Dark brown sugar. Oak.
I think something's wrong with my nose. It's so muted to me. I'm not
Really?
getting much of. Maybe because the nose on glass 1 was like really pronounced and flavorful. I might need a second here.
To me, the nose on glass 2.
Splashed myself.
To me, the nose on glass 2 really, it springs out of the glass at me. So there you go, right off the bat. Everybody's palate's different, and everybody's nose is a little bit different as well.
I don't know. My nose is broken.
I don't know. You were getting a lot on glass 1, and I wasn't.
Oh, right. So maybe we're just...
It's just a difference in our nasal palates. It's just not a
weird
romantic thing to say. Cheers.
Cheers. I got 3 layers on that part.
Oh.
It has a real sugary sweetness.
Yep.
The oak came through, and then a really nice, good hit of cherry.
This one continues to give. There is so much vanilla, buttercream, frosting, cherry. It definitely makes me think of baked goods. It makes me think of rich, sweet, tasty goodies. It's not overly hot. It's got a heat to it. And like we said, 107, that's a really nice place to do your drinking, at least in our opinion.
On my second sip there, I got a little nuttiness, which is to be expected.
Typical. Yeah, that's
Jim
Jim Beam profile. Yeah.
But this is lovely.
On to glass number 2.
Maybe I'm hungry. I got a little pizza smell on that one, but now the flavors are coming through.
I love some pizza right about now.
It tastes a little richer to me.
Yeah, the cherry dissipates really, really quickly here. The oak is still nice, but there's a little bitterness that seems to hang around.
Less flavor than like actual like fruit sweetness, different flavors that I can differentiate. There's also a little bit of spice to this one that I wasn't getting on glass 1.
Yeah, this is strangely less flavorful, more intense.
Yes, I agree. I think the flavors are less, but the mouthfeel is better. I like the finish on this one.
I'm all over the map on this. This is kind of
interesting because I also think it drinks thinner.
And now on my second sip, there's an intensity here. It's really... You're right.
Clingy.
Yeah, the first one I thought was clingy before. Now I'm thinking it's this one, but it's harder to identify what those flavors are on glass 2.
Yeah, everything's a little bit muted, or the profile is just so completely different.
A little muddy.
I'm
going back the other way.
Yeah. I like the sweetness that glass number 1 presents.
She's an easy drinker.
I know, everyone loves that. An easy drinker, but that's so true. I don't think the finish is as great in this one. I do think glass number 2 offers something really unique in the mouthfeel and the finish.
The experience is very different between these 2 glasses. Glass 1 brings a ton of sweetness. Glass 2 brings a lot of spice. And I think that that's what's going to appeal to some people. Some people want a spicier whiskey. Some people want a sweeter whiskey. Personally, the direction that I'm going right now, based on what I know about my palate versus yours, I think we might go different directions on this one.
I do too. I just took another sip of glass number 2. There's so much to like about this one, but you have to like that profile. It almost like gives you a little kick mid-palate. Like the flavors are a little bit muted, and then all of a sudden, like something comes in and rear ends you or whatever, right? Like gives you a little bump, and you're like, ooh, I kind of like that. And the finish
Goosed by the
warmth.
flavors of your Baker's 7.
Yeah,
How
you're
about
goosed
that?
by the flavors.
After going back and forth here, glass 2 bringing more chocolate now, and the spice is almost like an earthy, peppery spice. It's almost like something you would find in the grocery store. I don't know. These are both so good in totally different ways. I expected these two to be somewhat different, but I didn't expect that the flavor profile would differ so dramatically between the two.
I agree. I mean, the flavors are different. The experience is different. I mean, it's 7 and 8 years, so it's not like we're going like 4 and 12 or something. Like, it's pretty close.
So what's our difference? 7 years, 3 months to 8 years, 10 months. So that's a year and 7 months?
Yeah.
So it's not inconsequential.
Correct. Yeah, that's a good point. So the juice is the same, right? It's just aged longer?
Yeah, I mean, it's not from the exact same batch. This
Right.
one here, the 7 year, was barreled in 2013, March of 2013. And this one here was barreled in February of 2014. So different batches, aged
Yeah.
in different warehouses, aged for a considerably different amount of time.
Right.
I guess you would expect them to taste a little bit different.
Right.
And, these are single barrels. Again, single barrels, lots of variants. We've discovered that before.
It's actually a fascinating experiment. I don't know. I mean,
Thanks, I came up with it.
true.
Are you ready?
I think so.
All right, 1, 2, 3. We went different directions there.
There's no wrong answer.
Totally true.
My glass number 2, the more that I drank it, the more that I actually think it's probably the right choice. To be perfectly honest, there's something a little bit rough and ready about glass number 2. Like, it takes a while to get to like dig deep and get those flavors.
It's got big spice.
Big spice.
Yeah, it's distracting.
Yeah. Glass number 1, I just liked right out of the gate, and she never gave me up. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but
Never going to give you up, never
Yeah.
going to let you down. That's
Yeah.
glass 1 for you.
Yeah.
Very good. So glass 2 for me, there was a beautiful marshmallow note that was coming through. There was a milk chocolate note that was showing up. There was almost like cherries, milk chocolate, and marshmallow all mushed into one delicious ball of flavor. I don't know what it would be. Does that exist? Is that like a treat you can find at a bakery?
I can make that treat.
We're going to make that treat. Glass number 2 brought a little spice, offsets that sweetness a little bit, but the sweetness that's showing up is coming through on the back end, giving me a nice elongated sweet finish.
Yeah.
And I love it. You said it. There's no wrong answer here. You've got something to suit every palate.
It feels like party time over here in glass number 1, and
Thinking time.
Thinking time in glass number 2. I think glass number 2 actually has the best finish, and definitely the mouthfeel is superior. I just liked the pronounced flavors of glass number 1.
Well, if you're ready to party, go with Julie's pick.
Yeah.
If you want to just sit and think and be contemplative, go with my pick.
That is basically us in a nutshell.
That's the Bourbon Man for you. Let's find out what we got here. I chose glass A, which means you chose glass B.
Glass A, Baker's 7, 107 proof.
It ought to be Baker's 7.
8 years, 10 months. So you got the aged one.
Okay.
And
all
it
right.
shows.
It makes sense, I think.
Yeah, I think it totally shows. And the glass that I chose, which is glass number 1, is, of course, Baker's 7, 107 proof.
That too.
And it is the 7 years, 3 months.
How
and
about
I think
that?
that shows too.
I think the message here is pretty clear. Baker's 7 is solid whiskey.
Solid.
Very, very tasty. If you can get it in the $55 to $65 range, which most of you are getting it for out there, go ahead and do it. I've seen it $75, $85. I've spent $75 for it myself recently because we don't see it that often. And it's still so good. It still lives up to that elevated price point. Now you're talking, should you pay $75 for it? Because that's what we pay for Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. You have to decide what value is for yourself. But I'll say Baker's 7, it'll be a long time before I'll have a shelf without that whiskey on it. This was a fun time. Did you have fun?
Loved it.
Well, let us know. Do you like young bakers or old bakers? None of them are really young.
Yeah.
And from wherever we are,
To wherever you are.
cheers.
Cheers.
By the way, thanks to Eric C. and Ruby Heart 921 for this 7-year, 3-month bottle.
Yeah.
Cheers.